Calling you a radical. Let me get back to this footage. This was released by the NRA, not TEPCO. The NRA, that's paramount. The NRA finally, after 11 years, is getting involved. That's the Nuclear Regulatory Authority in Japan. So this footage is of Unit 2. This is not the core. This is the floor above the core. Now you go into a reactor, above the core, there is a lid. The lid is lead. The lead is like this thick. Then over the top of the lid, there's a layer of concrete. It's actually the concrete floor. It's the concrete floor. Now I sawed concrete. So all they've done, this is way above the core. This is the level above the core. Now, the core, the containment vessel, I wrote paper after paper after the Mach 1, Mach 2, was, a guy told me today, a young guy I saw, and he says, yeah, wasn't that because the reactors were built below sea level? I'm like, no. It's a Mach 1, Mach 2. The exact same reactor this is in and off. There's 40 of them in the United States. So, this is above the core. The core shook. I wrote paper after paper that a Mach 1, Mach 2, which is built by this university, Utah Construction built these reactors, which is General Electric. They can't handle an earthquake on the Japanese scale of anything higher than about a 7.9, 7.8. When I saw this as a 9, I knew the cores were immediately gone. It did take a tsunami to wipe it out. The cores were gone. When the cores are gone, there's a meltdown that occurs. It's that simple. So this footage that they've released, I mean, we're talking day 3800 today. So it's absolutely unbelievable. And again, this is not TEPCO. This is the NRA, not TEPCO. TEPCO's lies. So the Nuclear Regulatory Authority gets in there 11 years later. So it core drills a little, and sieverts, not millisieverts. They're talking sieverts, not millisieverts. 1100 millisieverts an hour. Now, again, I can't overstate this. This is way above the core. The cores have melted down for 11 years. They're in the Pacific Ocean. They're boiling the Pacific. They're releasing an energy nobody knows what it is, which I named plutonium years ago. So, 11 years, 3,800 days, 1,100 sieverts per hour? Are you kidding me? That's in this little concrete piece that they pulled up. Again, there's a layer of concrete that they walk on above these cores. There's a lead lid that's this thick. This is just the little piece of core. So, if the concrete right there, they didn't even drill that piece of concrete. They could have just went in there and got a Geiger counter. The same reading will be right there above that piece of concrete they got out, and would still show 1,100 sieverts per hour. That's what the whole region is. The entire region is reading 1,100 sieverts for miles away. That's what it's reading. So, what it's reading, these are suns burrowing into the earth, bringing star power to earth. These cores burrowed down through, got into the Japanese trench, no doubt. That was, remember when everything washed up dead in on the Russian Peninsula? That's right there in 2019. And Greenpeace is in there and says, we'll get right back to you. You know, and when they ruled out it was fuel, when they ruled out everything until it was nuclear, then, of course, they don't say anything, because the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate owns you. They own the world, if you haven't figured that one out yet. So, I cannot overstate this. This is 3,800 days. This is the lid. The concrete on top of the lid. Not even anything close to the core. The core, you could try that by 1,000,000 times. The core in the Pacific Ocean is releasing, my guess, probably tens of millions, if not billions, of sieverts per hour. Where's it at? It's in the Pacific Ocean. It's in your bone marrow. You know, after all this time, I mean, it's insanity to me. Again, this is not TEPCO. TEPCO, that dog and pony show, ran the show for how long? This is the NRA. which is our equivalent to our NRC, which is the North Carolina Insurance. Now, this is important because it got leaked out yesterday that the infrastructure bill, which I knew, and I've been screaming, and I've had in my army, we've been calling all our senators, our congressmen, saying no, 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 no. But it got leaked out in detail yesterday that inside, because people don't read these giant bills, they're as big as your leg, that inside the bill is all this pork to bail out reactors, including Diablo Canyon in California. Now, if the state of California says, no way, we're not, that thing's done. We're shutting down. Well, they've been bailing them out. They've been crying, you know, for money. And so the state's just doling them out billions and billions of dollars to, you know, take their golden parachutes and hit the road. But this isn't the state of California. This is the feds. So if the feds want to bail it out, oh, they're going to bail it out. So they use the terminology in the bill. They use Diablo Canyon itself. Now, you know why it's called Diablo Canyon? Because when the Spaniards were there running the Chumash out, there was a tsunami and an earthquake. TikTok, Diablo Canyon. That's what we need to all be concentrating on. It's the most dangerous nuclear reactor in the world besides Fukushima, Japan. We've got Sinanoa shutdown. All that spent fuel, we got it out. It's the greatest accomplishment in grassroots activist history. And if you don't think this is affecting the ocean, you sure haven't been watching the salmon numbers. The Columbia River right now has 67,000 stillhead. 10 years ago, this is returning in front of the dams. 10 years ago, they had 826,000. They have 430-something thousand Chinook. 5 years ago, they go to sea for 5 years, they had 2.7 million. You seen a tide pool lately? You looked at the tide pools lately? So, 1,100 sieverts, not millisieverts, sieverts per hour. This is way above the core. This is the concrete they walk on above, used to, that you'd walk on. It's on the whole floor above the floor. There's a concrete there, there's a giant round lid there, and it's lead. And then there's concrete over the lead. It's actually the flooring. They core drilled a little teeny piece out. The robot gets it, and again, this is not TEPCO. This is the NRA, who's finally got in there. Now, the NRA gave a press conference this summer and said, well, let's be honest. Excuse me, the IAEA, the International, those criminals, and said, well, let's be honest. We don't know where the cores are. We have no way of getting at them. We don't know what they are. We have no clue when they were that's their words. So they're telling you what Kevin Blanch told you on day, almost 3,800. Well, it is day 3,800. It took 60 minutes in Leslie Stahl and Lake Barrett, 3,000 days, to tell you what Kevin Blanch told you in 1 hour. He's standing right there. Hey, what's the matter with you? These are full-blown out meltdowns. This is the greatest eco. And so all the scientists, everybody, NOAA, journalism. I can't overstate that Sanjay Gupta and Anderson Cooper were in there saying Fukushima meltdown. They said it thousands of times. Thousands. The first days. They were there. Then they come home and don't even mention the word. Isn't that a little alarming to you? How they mention nuclear meltdown, and they come home and not one word. Barack Obama on March 17th. I posted it everywhere. 2011. We want you to know what I know. He was flown out of the country later that day to Argentina. The whole family, the whole damn family. Never mention it again. That's the greatest lie in human history. And everybody's going to hold drinks. So the scientists that, they're just going to go along, they're mystified, they're baffled, they're puzzled, they're stumped, they're perplexed, they're bewildered. Okay. Yes, and it's still being reported the worst since Chernobyl. Chernobyl, one core that blew up, had no spent fuel. It was a brand new reactor, had no spent fuel, brand new reactor. 750,000 men entombed it. And it was nasty. And the documentary is good. It's all over it. These are at least 3 core meltdowns, most likely 6. Not to mention all the spent fuel. 6 spent fuel pools with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of tons, including MOX fuel, which is against the law here. So that's the same thing in Unit 3. these cores melted into the ocean. And they boiled the Pacific Ocean, caused a heat dome over the western United States, just like Kevin Blanch said it would. Fuktonium, that's what it is. So, when you have all these, I mean, the whole cleanup was nothing but a dog and pony show. You know, cleaning up this, you know, Barack Obama, he pulled this, and then Trump doubles now. It's unbelievable. It's just the greatest story in human history, the greatest event, the greatest ecological, and you're going to chalk up everything, including COVID, to coincidence. And I'm not, because I know better. So, stay tuned.